to this session. I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to spending the next 30 minutes with you. For some of you, it might have been a long day already, and I hope you spent most of it with us at our SAP Student Day for this year. So I'm aware that some of you might have seen a lot of content already, so I want to make this session rather light in terms of content, but still hopefully insightful in terms of how you can start and grow a career at SAP. So look at this as a bit of a wrap up of the day. And in case you missed some sessions, maybe this one will help you give you the answers to those topics. So let's get it going. I'll use a good 15 minutes, I guess, for presentation, and then we'll make sure we have quite a few minutes left to address your questions. Let's get it going. There we go. Good. So why are we talking to you? First and foremost, we are looking at early talents really as the future population at SAP and the population that helps us build our future. As you might know, SAP will turn 50 next year. That's a big number, and that means quite a history. And what we're perceiving in our culture today is still a bit of that startup feeling, but obviously we're a global player in the meantime. So there's many interesting aspects coming together in terms of our cultural perspective. If we're looking at early talents as a group, we do want you to join this company, to grow in this company, to bring your skills as digital natives, but we think we as well have something great to offer you. Don't forget, we're running many of the big businesses in the world. So those insights in terms of how you produce chocolate and how you produce car and how you manage sustainable supply chain across the world is something that we have given our long-standing and extensive customer relationships all across the globe. So we're looking at you at future decision makers in this company. And we do want to encourage every early talent that joins us as an intern, as a working student, as an employee on unlimited contract to really bring their whole self in, to challenge us, to enrich us, both from a content, skills, competencies, but as well from a cultural perspective. So really, early talents is a strong focus for us from many aspects of our company's evolution. Before we go into how you grow your career at SAP, I thought it might be interesting to share a bit of my story. I'm actually in this company this year since 20 years. I have my 20th anniversary, which is exciting and maybe a bit frightening at the same time. And as you can imagine, I've been in the same situation that you're in today, and I didn't have the plan to start somewhere and stay for 20 years. However, I had great opportunities to develop in this company. I started as an HR business partner, actually with a spin-off of SAP, and did that for basically every business area, from technology to sales, to consulting, to marketing, and so on and so forth, which gave me lots of rich insights into the business. I had the opportunity to work on a global scale very early, or maybe actually right from the beginning. I remember that I was with SAP for maybe 3 weeks when I was asked by a business leader to fly with them to India and help recruit talent in India. So that was an amazing experience and an amazing learning. And obviously I could have said, oh my God, I've never done that before. But I decided to say yes and give it a try and prepare myself as good as I could, obviously with the help of others. And I'm still meeting some of the people that we hired at that point in the hallways, which is great. So yeah, that's my journey. Before I started at SAP, I studied economics. I did internships very consciously to really expand my skills and competencies and see how businesses are working from inside. I then started at Microsoft as an HR business partner, left rather quickly again, and that's again a situation you might have heard from others. I was starting with a temporary contract. They didn't have the headcount to extend me, or at least they didn't know. So I decided to take the opportunity with SAP. And again, I believe I had great opportunities to grow here in terms of personal competencies, but as well business skills and business insights in the many years that I've been here. And what I can definitely tell you is the company I started is not necessarily the company we're working in today. There has been a lot of change at SAP, a lot of growth, obviously, a lot of companies that we acquired who brought in their products, but as well their people and their culture. So we all evolved together to build something new, which is what SAP is today. From my personal learnings, you see the 5 recommendations there at the top, where I believe my success and my growth is anchored into. And one topic is go where the heat is. I've always tended to take on projects that were challenging, where I felt that I might miss some of the skills and competencies that are really required. But decided to take a bit of a risk as well for the gain to really be able to learn and to grow. I think it's important to stay flexible at SAP, and from everything that I'm hearing in other companies as well, things are changing these days. We are in a very dynamic industry. We know digitization is moving on in our private lives, and obviously that impacts businesses like SAP and many others. So what I would recommend is don't start your professional life with a very clear-cut plan and be disappointed if maybe the first or the second step don't work out. It's good to have a plan, but it's good to be flexible and look at what's happening and potentially adjust. Build your network is a very important part of the SAP culture. It's really important to know whom you can ask, whom you can offer your knowledge as well, and in turn benefit from others' skills, knowledge, and insights. And that will help you a long way. I'm still in touch with people that I started with in this company many years back. And it's great to see how they evolved here. And it's great to get their insights from the areas they are working in, which really enriches your view and helps you build your understanding about how this company works. Go global. As I shared, I always had the opportunity to work with teams across the world, India, US, China, and many, many others. And I felt that's a huge enrichment in terms of insights into different cultures. Learning how differences can contribute to something great, to a good outcome. It's sometimes a bit more difficult because you would have different views and different opinions in the room. Not everybody is thinking the same. People have just different experiences they bring in, but it's great in terms of representing our broad employee and as well the customer base out there. Last but not least, believe in yourself. You need to be happy with what you're doing. And if you feel you're not in the right place, there's tons of opportunities to move on. So trust yourself that you can do something new, something different, and leverage the opportunities that are out there. Showing you on this slide is the how we run principles that we are basing our full culture and behaviors and interaction with each other upon. These have been created by many SAP employees, so it's not something that the leadership has decided. And they really nicely relate to how we work together every day. Tell it like it is, for example, really means that we're giving each other very clear, but as well very constructive feedback, always with the mindset that everybody can be a teacher and everybody can be a learner. If we are open and willing to accept what everybody can bring to the table in terms of their diversity of experience, insights, and knowledge. And that's as well reflected in embrace differences. Stay curious really relates to the fact that we do want to evolve as a company and as individuals. So again, with the fast pace in the IT industry, and with skills and knowledge, especially technical skills, being outdated so fast, typically in a good 2-3 years, it's really important that we all remain open to learn something new and to test something new. Failure is part of learning. We are very aware of that, and we are supporting that with our employees as well, with projects and learning opportunities where we can take a bit of risk and people can try things, and it's absolutely okay to fail. It's good if you're learning from failures and you don't fail in the same way rapidly or repeatedly, is I guess what I'm trying to say. But other than that, we're looking at this as an opportunity. Ownership is a very important topic. You do find job descriptions at SAP, but again, things are fluid, things are dynamic. So it's really important that you take the ownership for your scope, for your role, that you potentially even push the boundaries in terms of when you see that something should happen differently or should add or should come together. We would invite our employees to really come forward with their ideas, with their suggestions, and really make sure that together we continuously advance. And with that comes accountability as well, right? We do hold ourselves accountable for what we're driving, but as well how we're driving it. I would describe our culture as very collaborative, as very cooperative. So we don't want people to be successful on the price, on the expense of others not being successful, but we definitely want to be successful as a team. Good, let me move on. Looking at early talents again, and what we understand behind that term is interns, working students, vocational students, up to people who have 2 to 3 years roughly work experience at SAP or in another company. To make your journey at SAP a good one, a successful one, we have looked at how typically somebody joins SAP from the fact that, or the situation that being aware of SAP, being intrigued, maybe a day like this, where after you might say, oh, this sounds really interesting. I should follow up. We're engaging, somebody joins, and then we're really looking at learning. How do we ensure a great onboarding? But beyond the first 6 months, or even more, depending on the role that is required for you to land in the role, to be successful in the role, it's really pretty early about expanding and really making sure you have the skills and competencies to advance in that role, to be able to take on responsibilities that as well help you grow and not lock you in a certain skill or a certain competencies. Then we're looking at growth, and that could mean various things in terms of a complete sidestep, right? You might decide to start in development for S/4HANA, let's say, but then decide to move into the consulting organization, right? We are promoting those side moves because we believe it's so important that many people at SAP have seen various areas and understand the connections and understand as well on a personal level how others work, what are the challenges in other areas, what are the opportunities, which again gives us a great foundation to grow together and to work together in a really good spirit. Then obviously there is the more formal progression with promotions potentially as you build expertise and you take on a more significant scope, and you might progress to a senior or expert level, or even some might be interested in leading people and expanding on that career track. So in short, we have various career development paths or journeys, and we think that's important to give opportunities to various needs and aspirations of people. but as well for us as a company to have a broad mix of skills, competencies, and talent in the company. Last but not least, rewards and recognition are an important aspect in our job and in our life as well, right? People wanna be taken care of from that perspective. Some need to take care of a family. So we have a really nice package to offer there in all aspects. And what we have grown in the past few years is more and more a culture of appreciation. We tend to have one appreciation day in the year, a very dedicated one where everybody reflects on a positive feedback that they could give to many other colleagues, maybe to their manager, maybe to leaders outside their team who have supported their growth or have helped them in one or the other project. That has really become a really, really nice aspect of our culture that many people love and actually do appreciate. Part of learning and growing is as well being part of a Vivid community. And what we managed to build really nicely in the last 2 years is our early talent community and exchange platform. You see, we have around 4,000 members in that one. The platform is Vivid because so many of the members are contributing. Everybody is invited to share their views, to suggest topics, to suggest opportunities to come together these days, typically more virtually than in person. So we hope that changes. But this would be the place for you if you would be starting here to find people that are more or less in the career stage that you are and get some great exchange going, get some great input and guidance to your questions, but as well be able to build a network that will potentially carry you through in a nice way through many years in the company. We have brought a few examples of early talents with us. I think this might be interesting to see, and I let you read the statements there for a few seconds. But basically what I think it tells you is the diversity of people, the diversity of opportunities, and the diversity to learn and grow in this company along and together with many others. So I'll just let you read for a bit. I want to mention that Anna, for example, if I pick her out, is somebody who has started as a recruiter in the company, has been in my team accordingly for a good 2 years, has then moved on in the operations team of S4HANA. Directly into our development business, is very happy there, can bring some skills and some insights that she has gained in her role in TA, but as well, obviously, is learning and expanding to many new things and many new tasks and topics that she didn't have the opportunity before. The opportunities that we want to provide to our interns, students, early talents as well is to leverage innovation that this company is building. And there is two pieces of innovation that I wanted to showcase here that we have driven in TA and that are accessible to everybody who is going to the SAP.com career page. One is our so-called smart job matching engine. That is a nice tool that we have in place only since a good year now, that actually takes the burden of you to find a role at SAP, but allows you to enter a few of your key skills and competencies and then suggests the jobs that are a potential fit to you and suggests where you should apply. I think this tool is really nice because we're hearing from many candidates that with the hundreds and thousands of opportunities we have open on our job page, it's really tough to know where you fit in, how you find the right one. So this is a nice little tool that is providing some great help and suggestions there. The tool is built on artificial intelligence, and we have built it together with a small SAP-funded startup called Brilliant Hire. I have the pleasure to as well be in the advisory board of the company, which is really nice coming together of my knowledge, obviously, as a leader in SAP for many years, and many rather young, early talent people in the startup who come with a lot of technical knowledge. So it's a really nice combination of skills and competencies, and this is a very tangible product that helps our candidates that we evolve together in only a few months. Another nice piece of technology is our career site chatbot. So if you have some simple basic questions about your start at SAP, anything you want to know around careers here, that's again a great opportunity for you to just interact with our chatbot, and typically you'll get an answer really fast, and one that really helps you forward. Good. This slide should make it really, really tangible for you. If maybe after this day you went into many sessions and you might say, this is exciting. I think there might be places for me here at SAP that could be nice. We've given you the key programs. I wanna bring across that while we have quite a few graduate programs, you see them here for sales, for pre-sales, for HR. So for many parts of the business, we do as well have entry-level roles. So you basically have both opportunities. You're starting straight in a job, in a team, or you decide to apply for one of our graduate programs and then go through that program before you then decide what your next step is. I think what is important to understand as well, I mentioned it a few times now, but I will mention it again. Should you decide for one role that you find exciting, that definitely doesn't mean that is where you need to spend the rest of your life, but typically we're planning on a horizon of a good 2 years. 2 years is a time when you're learning, you're onboarding, you're getting comfortable and familiar with the role, and then you're growing and you're potentially stretching the boundaries of the role, and you're really productive. That's why we are suggesting to our employees to stay in a role for 2 years, roughly, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, could depend on the individual situation. However, then there's many opportunities to move on as well internally, across business areas, across various projects, for example. But as well, there is the opportunity, if somebody is interested in that, to apply within SAP to a SAP company outside Germany. That's totally something that we do support as well. Let me spend a few words on our internship experience program that has grown as a small plant a few years back in one of our acquired companies at Concur, and this year we managed to expand the program into 22 countries. So I'm really proud of the team and where they did get it. And what we're aiming for with the internship experience program is really beyond the team you're involved and the tasks that you're getting and the projects you're involved, to give you a great learning and community experience. So this program would suggest you quite a few learning opportunities, and it will as well bring you together with other interns around the globe who are spending their first or maybe their second or their third internship at SAP. We have quite a few returners, so to say, which is really nice to see, and they obviously can share lots of nice experiences that they have gained already. So independent on whether your internship is 3 months, 6 months, or in some countries it's even going beyond a year, this program provides you the learning opportunities, the community experience, and really makes sure that you see all of the opportunities and the broad picture of SAP beyond the team you're in and the tasks and the job that you're working on. So yeah, we're giving you the links here. We have given you the names as well. If you want to reach out to one of our recruiters directly, that is an option as well. So trying to make this as tangible and simple for you in terms of reach out and finding out what's the best and the right place for you. Good. I'm coming towards the end, and Abhishek, I would like to ask you, while I'm going through just the final 2 slides, to maybe start the poll, and everybody attending would really love to hear your feedback about SAP, your perception in more general terms. So we'll be getting a very small survey to you right now. It's 3 questions. And if you want to look at them and click through in parallel, that would be amazing, and we would be very grateful. What I wanted to share on this slide is a bit of feeling of our office spaces. And you see various offices, some in Waldorf, some in other parts of Germany or the world. And I think what this brings across is that we're looking at office space as really a space to come together. You would less find the typical 1, 2, 3 person office at SAP anymore, but you would find meeting spaces to meet with your teammates. You would find project spaces for bigger project groups to come together and to work together with flexible walls, with flexible opportunities to capture ideas, to work through ideas, to come up with follow-ups and project plans. You would find small cabins like here where you have a bit of privacy for yourself if you are working on task where you really need to think a bit more deeper, but as well if you are in confidential sessions, for example, in a confidential call where it wouldn't be appropriate for everybody around you to hear about that. So at this point, obviously, many of us are working in our home office primarily, given the pandemic. And we have learned and found many ways to ensure that we're staying connected among each other as employees, among the leaders and their teams in this hybrid and virtual world. That said, however, I think we're all looking forward to a time where at least from time to time we can see our colleagues in person and spend some really nice quality time together. Good. And then I have one last slide. I hope I can still move that, which is a hint for you to join our talent community. That is an option that you register there and you get news about SAP around jobs, opportunities, but as well what happens in our business. And if you want to leverage SAP learnings as well, you can just go to our Next Gen page and see what opportunities are there and leverage them already now without yet being an SAP employee. But depending on where you go and what your plans are, these skills might still be very useful. With that, closing my presentation here. As said, we'd love to meet you again in one or the other form or shape at SAP in our offices or in any of our virtual spaces. But let's now move to Q&A to allow you as well to address any questions you might have. Thank you so much for your attention so far.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elke. And yeah, so we have some Q&As in the chat here. And the first one is from a sustainability graduate. And he wants to know whether SAP typically focuses on full-time education when hiring, or can career changes with motivation and online courses also sees the opportunity to work in sustainability with SAP in this field?
Yeah, that's definitely an option, and this is definitely a field that has become more and more important for SAP in the past few years. I think we are a front runner here in terms of that we had sustainability KPIs in our balance sheet since many years. But as well, we learned and we evolved on the sustainability angle, right? Since the pandemic, we went deeper and deeper into sustainable supply chains and what that means for us as a company. How can we be more sustainable there, but as well helping our customers be more sustainable. So there's definitely an option to enrich us in that area. In terms of our learning approach, at SAP, you will find more and more digestible, small learning pieces that you can integrate in your work versus the classical, let's say, 2-week or a few days in a row where you're fully booked for trainings. Based on feedback that we've gathered from our employees, actually over a few years, we know that people find it hard to say, I'm off, I'm on a training for a week or so. So that's where we adjusted more and more our offering to make sure that people can learn a bit more integrated in their daily work. And I want to say as well that we are looking at the traditional classroom training only as one angle of learning. We do want to make sure that people learn a lot through coaching, through mentoring, through on-the-job opportunities, and for example, through programs like our fellowship program, where you have the opportunity to learn and contribute to a different team for a few months and then go back to your role. So there is a variety of learning opportunities beyond just the very classical ones.
Thank you so much, Elke. And I think there's another question. This applies a little bit so in terms of pledge to flex. And there's one question: can I apply to positions that are not advertised for the offices where I would like to work, or job offers that are not advertised at all? For example, there are senior developer positions online in the area I'm interested in, but I don't fulfill the needed years of experience and would like to apply for these positions rather as a junior. Long question, many bits and pieces, but I hope you got it.
Yeah, thank you, Anja. Let me try to answer that. So let me start with pledge to flex, maybe, and I hope you have all seen that. If you want to just enter pledge to flex on our webpage, you will find our statement around how we want to work at SAP in the future, and the future has actually started, right? So we're really looking at hybrid working models as the model of the future, where people come to the office maybe 1-2 days per week, and have the opportunity to work remote quite a bit. That's always as well a discussion among the employee and the manager, because we know, again, as we're surveying our employees continuously, that people have different needs and different wishes. Some actually want to spend their time almost always in the office, and others almost not, and most of them something in between. So that is why we're looking towards a hybrid setup that hopefully accommodates best the needs of everybody, and there's quite some flexibility in that. So from that perspective, I would say, even if you see a job in Munich, for example, or Waldorf, and you feel you don't want to totally relocate and move your life there, please still apply, because typically there is the opportunity to work in a hybrid environment. In terms of applying to a senior role as a junior, that may be a bit tricky, right? I would suggest, if you feel you're not fulfilling the criteria at all, to not apply to that specific job, but to then register again to the talent community, because we are looking at the people in there. We are suggesting jobs based on what you bring. And as well, we're getting in touch with people in our talent community to say, we've seen your background, we've seen your profile. Here is the job that we think could be interesting to you. So I definitely want to encourage you to apply, maybe not for that specific job if you feel the gap is too big, but then register to the talent community. I do want to say as well that yeah, I'd like to encourage you to not look at perfection in terms of checking the boxes, the requirements 100%, right? It's always about what you can bring in, and is there a piece left that you might feel insecure, where we can help you in the onboarding phase, and as you learn, we're totally prepared to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your response, Elke. So there's a couple of more questions, if you're fine, just to take another 2 or 3.
Absolutely.
In
yes,
terms
yes.
of time. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Elke, you mentioned that it is well accepted to change the area of work. How should one approach such a move, especially if you are a working student?
So there's various opportunities here. One is obviously to continuously check the open opportunities on our careers page and apply for that. One is, however, as well, especially for working students, because things might come up short term. There's a lot of dynamics in the system, to simply talk to your manager and ask your manager whether they could suggest any reasonable area that is a nice, logical build-up of your skills and competencies. And typically the manager can open a door for you with potentially another team. Another option as well is to approach our HR colleagues just with a ticket, for example, and ask for a small consultation to potentially get some guidance on where your next step could be.
Okay, thank you. And regarding hybrid working, how do you separate work and life, Elke?
That is a good question, and I must say this was easier before the pandemic, right? Because you consciously drove to the office, you consciously drove back home, and there was this space split in between. Now in home office times, it's really important to make sure that the laptop is being switched off at a certain point in time in the evening. What I'm trying to do, especially in winter times now in Germany, is to block 20-30 minutes over noon for a small walk. So I'm getting a bit of caretaking as well from a physical perspective. So I think it's really important to find your own rhythm to it and with it. I'm a bit of a late bird, so I would need a bit more time in the morning to get up to speed, but then I'm totally comfortable to work a bit later in the evening. So here I think with SAP you have the flexibility to do either or, and really to find your own rhythm in terms of when you build those pieces in your day that help you recharge, that help you stay healthy and productive over the long run.
Yeah, sounds great. And it is really, really important, as you say, to find the own rhythm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. And then we have someone who loves to become a potential intern here at SAP. And he wants to know what has been your favorite part, Elke, about working at SAP, and how does the culture of SAP reflect this?
Oh, that's a really nice question. So I think I touched on it a bit in the beginning, but what I really like in terms of culture and working here, and that's obviously a reason why I am here after so many years, is really the people and how we come together and how we work together. So I would describe our culture as really open, as really collaborative, as really, embracing people to bring their ideas and their suggestions in. And you would find that if you have a great idea and you're getting together with a few colleagues in your team or maybe across teams, you quickly find people who are open and willing to drive things forward together with you. So there's a lot of impact actually that every employee at SAP can have if you wish so, and if you want to drive in terms of yeah, your influence in this company. So that's definitely one aspect. I think the focus on people in terms of really continuous growth and relationship, if you will, with the company. Many of our employees really stay over many years here, which is special in our industry, and that speaks to yeah, to the culture, but as well to the opportunities that we are able to offer from various angles, be it learning, on the job, off the job, the support that your manager gives you in growing, the support that any coaches or mentors would give you in growing. So I think the world of opportunities in this own company is really big wherever you want to go, and that's another reason to be here and to be here for longer.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So we are the two dinosaurs in this in this company, more than 20 years.
Exactly,
Yeah,
but it still feels good, right? And I think that's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Still loads of passion. And I would say, in terms of time, one last question, okay? And so it's rather a serious one regarding the pandemic. A person would like to know, since this pandemic, have you noticed an impact on the younger talent generation at SAP regarding mental health?
Can you repeat that, Anya? You were gone for a few seconds for me.
Oh, terribly sorry. So since this pandemic, have you noticed an impact on the younger talent generation at SAP regarding mental health?
That's a good question. We have realized an impact as we are surveying our employees regularly. We have a so-called unfiltered survey and pulse check where people give us their feedback and their pulse regularly, and that has a section on health and well-being as well. So yes, we have seen that the pandemic has added burden to many people, not only from a work perspective, but from a life perspective, being required to take care of your children when schools are closed, being required to take care of elder people. Yeah, it makes it tougher for people in general. And that's what we've seen definitely with our employees, not specifically with the younger ones, but actually across all generations. We have a really strong health team at SAP that has always yeah, nurtured great offerings for all of us, both on physical but as well mental health since a few years. That team has actually revamped and expanded their offerings during the pandemic to really make sure that every employee and every team as well, where they are helping as well us in team sessions to talk about mental health, to understand it, to understand the signs of stress and how we can deal with them together. And I think that togetherness is what already provides people a great deal of help.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Elke. So I would say, in terms of time, we come to the end, but please be sure we capture all the questions we could not now answer in the live session. We will follow up on that, so each and everyone will receive an answer of the question. So I hand over back to you, Elke, for final words, and I say thank you very much for an absolutely great SAP Student Day at SAP and a wonderful session with you, Elke. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anya, for the facilitation. Thanks, Sharon, as well, for taking the questions in the chat. So I hope we could answer as many as possible. And thank you all for attending after probably a full day. Really appreciate your staying with us. And I hope this session wrapped it up in an easy and still nice and helpful way for all of you. Thank you so much. All the best for what you're up for. Yeah, would love to see you at SAP sooner or later. All the best. Bye-bye.